Hey guys, doing stuff with JTech. Today we are going to do a transmission pressure line test. Basically we got our 2010 Chevy Aveo here. I went ahead and hooked up the test gauge. It's kind of hard to see, but I got it run right up in here on the transmission. Looking up in service publications, you'll find out where the test port they want you to hook up into. Luckily for our Aveo, it's right here on the side of the trans. So I'm going to run the gauge up to the top, and I'm going to put the car on the ground, and I'm pretty much going to be power braking it. Power braking is pretty much when you're putting it in drive or reverse, pretty much putting it in gear, holding the brakes all the way down, and giving it gas until it pretty much essentially stalls. I don't mean stall as in like manual transmission when you stall out and you lose power or you lose the engine. I mean stall to where in an automatic, when you're power braking it like that, what will happen is the engine will actually hit a certain RPM and it'll kind of just sit there and just rev at that one and won't let you rev past until the tires actually break loose and the vehicle will start moving, and then it'll let you rev by. So we're put this thing on the ground, we're gonna hop in the cab, and we're gonna power brake it, see what it does. All right, hang on. All right, now we're in the cab. I've got my gauge ran up. Make sure it's away from the fans and the belt. I've got it kind of held in place by the wiper motor. What we're going to do is we are going to do 4 tests. We're going to do idle pressure in drive, idle pressure in reverse, stall pressure in drive, and stall pressure in reverse. Now that stall pressure is where we're power braking it. So to start, pretty much put my foot on the brake, put it in drive. I can see my idle pressure is about a little over 60, and according to my specs, it's a little high. It should be about 53, should be no more than 53.7. Yeah, it's just under 60, so it's a little high for that. We're just gonna skip right into let it idle again. Now we're gonna put it in reverse. In reverse, our max should be about 98.6, and as you can see, our needle's jumping, but it's well over 100. It's probably about 110. It's jumping between 105 and 115. So once again, that's pretty high. Put it back in neutral, let it idle a little bit. Whenever you do these tests, doing the stall test, you always want to make sure you're leaving about a 1-minute interval so that the transmission doesn't overheat. Because if you sit there and power brake it and just keep power braking it on and off, it will overheat the trans and burn your oil up and blow your transmission pretty much. All right, so let it sit for a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into our power brake. I put it in drive, just regular D4, and we're going to watch our pressures. Our pressure on this one should be a max about 178. So we're going to hold foot on the brake, and we're going to pretty much give it gas until you can't give it anymore. All right, so that's about maxed out. As you can see, it's bouncing between 150 and 160, which it should be between 159 and 178. So it's kind of good, but we can definitely tell we got issues with this transmission. We're gonna let it set for a minute to give that transmission a bit time to cool down. Be back in a second. All right, now we're gonna do our reverse test. So left foot on the brake, holding as much as possible, got it in reverse. This one should be between 230 and 265. So let's see if we can get that gauge up there. Yeah, we're giving as much gas as possible. Gauge is kind of peaking out at 275, bouncing between 250. So again, it's borderline good, but we definitely think we got issues with this transmission. All right, guys, so that's a basic Autotrans pressure line test. Basically, again, we just did the 3 tests, the 2 idles and the 2 stalls. Pretty straightforward. What I did was I had my specs I printed off of online. Pretty much any auto publications You pretty much check your gauges on the specs I got. It's got the, you know, the results and the causes. So I'm going to definitely match the readings we got with what this chart says and see how it looks. But that's basically it. That's a basic transmission pressure test. Thanks.